Hey guys, today we have the SOG Aegis up for review, but as usual we'll start out with the specs, move to the features, talk about pros and cons, and then we'll finish up with a recommendation. So what do you say we get into it and see how this one shakes out? But first, some specs. Hey guys, I'm Jay, and as promised, well, here is the SOG Aegis. It's model number AE-01, that's Alpha Echo 01. And now that I think about it, this is actually my very first SOG review for you guys. First though guys, I want to go ahead and show you what I've been EDCing for the past couple of days. Yep, Benchmade 4A. I really, so far, I really like this knife. So I want to carry it for a little bit longer, and then a review will be following shortly. So what we have here is a assisted opening drop point that's full flat grind, and with some very nice assisted opening action. That assisted action makes this very flickable. It's a lot of fun to fondle, actually. And SOG did go ahead and give us a sharpening choil on here. Thank you very much, guys. You can really see here that SOG's primary focus was to create a very lightweight spring-assisted knife. And if you look on the inside there are no liners whatsoever, which also helps to keep that weight way down. I mean, you guys aren't going to believe how much this thing weighs. Now, if we look at the back side here of the Aegis, you can see it is actually fully closed. And I believe, let's see, that this is a little bit wider, actually a lot of bit wider than a pencil. Let's see if I can show you guys. Yeah, well, you get the idea. But yes, it's a little bit wider. And it does have very good balance. I really thought that this would be blade heavy because of how friggin' light that the handle is, but it is not. They were still able to balance this. Look at that. Like perfectly. Well done. Now before we go on, I want to go ahead and bring in a couple cast members here just so you can get an idea of the size of knife that we're working with. Benchmade Griptilian, Paramilitary 2, and you know what, as long as I've got it out, let's just go ahead and use the Benchmade 4A. So as you can see, the Aegis is pretty darn big knife. So what do you guys say we go ahead and get a weight on this guy? Yes and no, my scale is not broken. That is 3.1 ounces. Man, oh man, and that is going to be the equivalent of roughly 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 AA batteries. Holy crap. Now another one of my favorite features of this knife is the pocket clip. And you can see what comes standard is a very deep carry clip. Nice to see. And that's going to be tip up only, but it will be for righties and lefties. The Aegis actually has a pretty good amount of jimping on it. I want to show you guys. So if you can see there on the back of the blade by the pivot, on the handle by the pivot as well, and where else? Down here by the butt end on top, and if we flip it over on the belly, we got a little bit of jimping as well. So I pretty much think that you're covered as far as jimping goes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the centering of the Aegis. Yeah, not too hot. You know what, it is, yeah, it's a little bit to the right. But you know what? It does not affect the deployment whatsoever. So that is no big deal. There is a good size external stop pin. See if I can kind of show it there to you guys. Yep, there she is. And SOG elected to go without a lanyard hole on this one. Now it's really nice to see that there are actually quite a few different variations of the SOG Aegis. You can actually find it in, well, the drop point, of course. They do have a Tonto style with or without a combo edge. You can get it, of course, in the satin blade finish or a really nice black DLC. 3-inch blade, and of course they offer the 3.5-inch blade, and an ACU, a glass reinforced nylon handle. Kind of looks like the handle, a little bit anyway, of the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Now we really need to get into these pros and cons because there are quite a few of each, and I'm going to start out with the good, and we're going to talk about, well, the weight. 3.12 ounces. That is just absolutely incredible. And that assisted opening is pretty darn quick. You know what? It just sometimes I just don't understand why people like to de-assist their knives, because I really do enjoy a nice quick. It's got to be quick and snappy assisted opening. The blade has a very wide profile, which, well, I really like, and the clip being deep carry for righties or lefties, that's just great. There is also a safety lock. I don't know if you guys can see that there. It is very unobtrusive. I actually, for the first couple weeks that I owned this, did not even realize it had a safety on it. I mean, that just shows you how much out of the way that it is. But you can lock it closed or open. I really appreciate these black body screws. I wish more manufacturers would do that instead of, you know, the satin colored screws. I really like it when they're kind of hidden. And if you look on the show side of the knife, you can see that there are no screw holes whatsoever. So that's just a nice little nice touch by SOG. And the last of the good, well, would have to be the ergos. It really does feel very nice in hand. Very nice. Now, as usual, we do have some bad to go along with the good as well. Now, you might have noticed throughout this video that I've been kind of taking the knife off camera to close it each time. Well, that is because it actually does require 2 hands to close the Aegis. I mean, you can maybe, you know, like do one of these on a table or on your leg. I don't really recommend it, just in case if it slips, but it does require 2 hands to close it. I mean, some of you that, you know, maybe used to be circus performers might be able to do it with 1 hand, but most of us are not going to be able to, so that kind of stinks. Now, even though they did use a deep carry clip that is reversible for lefties, unfortunately the locking mechanism actually is only on the one side, which you can see as a lefty, I kind of have to take my index finger here on the opposite side, and I'm able to, you know, it's not a big deal, but I just want you to be aware for those lefties that are out there. Now, I'm not really crazy about the blade steel that they used because it looks like they went with AUS 8, especially, you know, in today's knife market when there's so many different choices as far as like M390, 20CV, CTS XHP, S30V, S35VN. You know, why I really do wish that this was, they did use maybe an upgraded blade steel. It would be awesome to see this in like CTS XHP. Wouldn't that be great? As you can see with the jimping now, SOG was very concerned that, you know, that users are able to maintain, well, a very good grip on the Aegis. And if you can see these little strips here on the handle, these little, like, they're like a rubber insert, and they are on both sides. But I have to tell you, my first week of owning this knife, I don't remember which one it was, but one of them fell out, and I did have to go ahead and super glue it in there. Not a big deal. I mean, I didn't mind doing it, but you know, there's some of you that might be unacceptable for, so I just want to mention it. Now, this knife is not really going to be considered like a heavy duty or hard use knife, and part of that is going to be because of the blade grind and the taper. It really does go down to, let's see, up. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is a very, very fine tip. I mean, I don't use my knives to pry anything, but just again, so you are aware that the tip is very narrow. And probably my biggest issue with the Aegis would be the pivot and the adjustment of the deployment, because you can see everything is really, really kind of tight in here, really, the tolerances. And if you try to adjust the pivot, I mean, I backed it off about a quarter of a turn, and there was, you know, significant play in the blade. And if you tighten it too much, you know, the assist is just not going to work very well. So I just kind of wish that SOG would have done a little better in that area. Now, as far as well, a recommendation goes, you know what, I think I'm going to go ahead and assign a bronze star to the SOG Aegis, and that's because now this knife is really full of compromises. I mean, it's obviously super lightweight, but you know what, there's going to be a trade-off. It might lack a little bit of well, durability. I really wish there was a different steel on here. I know, you know, a different steel would increase the price, which I will get to here in a second. But this would be great for someone that is really, weight conscious as far as your gear. You know, this being just a little over 3 ounces would be perfect for backpacking, you know, camping. Definitely not a hard use type of a knife. And I definitely would not consider this, well, a collectible in any way. But you know what, it's a really good representation of what SOG as a company is capable of. So if you do not own any SOG knives, I really would recommend that you check this one out. And as I stated earlier, I mean, I think I have, oh man, maybe 3 or 4 SOGs. They're not my favorite company in the whole wide world, but you know, I don't hate them either. It's just, you know, there's more of their designs just do not appeal to me as much. So if you're looking for your first SOG and you're not sure which one to go with, definitely, I mean, you can't go wrong with the Aegis. Before we go, I want to go ahead and leave you guys with a question. Which characteristic is more important to you, or should I say, if you purchase a lighter weight knife, are you really willing to sacrifice or make the compromise for durability? Or does the weight not matter too much and you're just looking for some heavy duty kind of beater type knife? Please leave your answers in the comment section below. If you're a collector that's looking to add some more, well, pieces to your collection, or you're just someone that's in search of that one good knife to use as a tool, then go ahead and click on subscribe, because I am constantly uploading new videos, I mean, several times a week. And if this video at all answered most of your questions about the SOG Aegis, then why don't you go ahead and please leave a like? I would appreciate it. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by, hanging out, and letting me talk knives with you. I really, really do enjoy it. And I will see you guys at the next video. So y'all take care.